So Adobe just released a new AI slider that allows you to decide how much or how little of an effect you want on your image. It's called Precision Flow. It's built into Photoshop, and today we're gonna show you how to use it, put it to the test, and ask, is it actually worth it? So here we are in Photoshop 2026. Be sure you update to the latest version, by the way. Where's this Precision Flow? Where is it? So you gotta be back into your home screen and then go right on the left-hand side to where you see Firefly Workspace. This is where we're gonna access this new tool. So Firefly Workspace, we're gonna go ahead and click on there and we can see Magic Restyle, apply consistent style across multiple images. This is all AI tools, by the way, obviously. Here's what we're gonna be talking about today, Precision Flow, and then we can also do edit with markup, which is cool. But today we're focusing on Precision Flow. Let's go ahead and click there. You can see it is in beta, and it comes with this example, which I actually do like. So let's go ahead and say, just, have a slider. This is the prompt, by the way, day to night, skylight illuminate, van cabin, turn on. Okay. I don't think I read that correctly at all, but you get the idea. Here's the slider. So you can see I can actually take this slider and move it from left to the right as we go from day to night, and the lights are turning on, which is actually pretty cool. And I'm like looking at this image and I'm like, hey, this might be something that I actually want, because oftentimes we're like, go day to night, and you're like, I don't know, do I want it here? Do I want it here? In this exact example, it works really well. Now, I'm gonna give a couple caveats. This is kind of like an illustrative style image, and it's a relatively simple example, and they've kind of fine-tuned it to work really well. So we're gonna put an actual photograph in here and see how it does. So how do you do that, right? We can just hit apply here, and it's like, okay, cool. How do we actually put our own photograph in here? It's a little bit hidden. You have to go here on Edit New. So let's go ahead and click on Edit New. Now, with this Edit New, we're gonna click here on Upload. So let's go ahead and click on Upload. Now check this out. I have this photograph that you can download totally free. Just click on the link right down below, and then you can follow along with this tutorial and see if you want to use this new feature. So this is our new image. It's precisionflow.jpg. It's a large JPEG. It's 2832 by 4200 pixels. Let's go ahead and open this up here, and we're going to see here is our new Firefly Workspace. And you're like, what happened to my Precision Flow stuff on the left here? Well, this is where you can edit with a prompt, you can edit with a markup, you can do Precision Flow, which is what we're gonna do. You're gonna fill and remove and expand, all this stuff. But let's go ahead and click on Precision Flow here, and you can see it is in beta. So what I wanna do is I wanna turn my subject's hair and clothing red, okay? So make her hair and clothes red. Perfect. Now we have just a couple of options down here at the bottom, but we should look at these. Okay, first thing is our edit strength. Now I've used this tool quite a bit to try to get good results, because if I'm being honest, a lot of the results have been like way too much, right? So my first suggestion here is just take that edit strength and bring that down to 0.1. You can play with this if you want, but I recommend putting that edit strength down all the way to the beginning, because some of this stuff is like way too edited. Okay, next we can see partner model. Okay, this is telling us it's gonna use a partner model. The funny thing is, we don't know. Usually Adobe is actually pretty good about this. They'll say this is gonna use Gemini, or this is gonna use Flux, or this is gonna use Nano Banana, or whatever. This, it doesn't say at all. It just says partner model. So we're like, okay, whatever. And then it does say it's gonna use 5 credits. All right, well, we're gonna put it to the test. So let's go ahead and click on generate. Now, here's what I don't like. I'm gonna just say this right off the bat. Image downsized to 1024 pixels for this process. So whatever you upload to this tool, it's going to downsize it to 1024 pixels automatically. It's going to lower the resolution. And then it tells you just to upscale it later, which you're like, okay, cool, but that kind of works medium good and it uses more credits, so blah. But let's see what we got. Let's see what we like. Okay, here's our slider. So we're gonna start off with this image. Okay, you know what? I've been a little bit crapping all over this tool, just a tiny bit, but seeing this, I actually kind of really like this now. It's cool, okay? Is it like highest resolution ever? No, but the fact that I have a slider from, the original photograph to her hair and her clothes more and more red, it is cool. And I like, Traditionally, with some of these AI tools like generative fill, it's going to give you 3 different variations, and it's going to be using 3 different credits no matter what, right? But here, this used 5 credits, and I have a lot more than 5 different variations. So even if you're like not using it as like, you know, a strength indicator, you still have a lot of different options that you can choose. Like, you know, I like that option. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and hit apply. I started this off like, this tool is not very useful, and then I'm like, I actually kind of like it. Oh boy. Okay, so I already hit apply. Now, this is my image, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. What do I actually do with this image? So it did downscale it, okay? So we're gonna go right over here to upscale. I know, it's a little bit ridiculous. You're like, it downscaled it, now we gotta upscale it ourselves? Shouldn't it just do that automatically once you hit apply? Yeah, it should. So Adobe, make that happen, right? We shouldn't have to pay twice. Anyway, it is what it is for now. So it downscaled it, but we can still go to this upscale. So we're gonna use the Firefly upscaler. We're gonna say 2x, that's fine. It's gonna use 5 more credits, so we're at 10 credits now. At least it tells us how many credits we're gonna use, whereas the old generative fill didn't really tell you. So I am glad about that. It's gonna use 5 more credits. Let's go ahead and hit upscale. So this is upscaling, and you can see my upscale history down here at the bottom. There's some previous versions that I did. Okay, here we go. We're upscaling, and then we're gonna see what happens with this image when we're done. Like, what do we do with it, right? Because we're here in the Firefly Workspace. There we go. Generative action completed. It has been upscaled. It looks pretty good. We're in the Firefly Workspace. We're like, what do I do with it? I'm in Photoshop. I'm not used to this totally different simplified version, right? Well, you do have a couple great options. First, you can go up to the very top right, and you can just download this image as it is, okay? Pretty cool. You can open this in Firefly on the web, or you can open it in Editor. I wish that just said open in Photoshop, because it's like, we're in Photoshop. Like, why would it say open in Editor? It seems like a different program. Who knows? Anyway, little nitpick. I'm gonna click on open in Editor, which just opens it in Photoshop. I know we're already in Photoshop, so maybe that's, but no one knows what Editor is. All right, so let's go ahead and click on open in Editor, and then here we are in Photoshop. So we have our subject's hair is red and her clothing is red, but here's the deal. Here's the test. What I wanna do is I wanna go back to my original photograph. Like, that's what I really want. So let's go ahead and find our original download image, right? And I wanna click and drag it in here, and we wanna compare and contrast, baby. You know, like, let's actually see this quality because I upscaled it. So here's what kind of a cool thing that we can do, okay? I'm gonna make this layer a little bit smaller, less opacity, okay? I can use my move tool to kind of move it around, but what I can also do, which is kind of cool, is I can Control or Command click on these. I just have to turn this background into a regular layer by double clicking on it. I can select both of these, and then I can go to Edit, and then I can go to Auto Align Layers. I can't go to Auto Align Layers because this one is a smart object. All right, so I have to go to Layer, then I have to go to Smart Objects, then I have to go to Rasterize. I know. But now I can go to Edit, and then down here to Auto Align Layers with both my layers selected. So Auto Align Layers, just click on Auto and then hit OK. It's gonna put them both in the exact same place, which is cool. That's actually like a hack, and I highly recommend doing that. And here is why. Check this out. So with Auto Align Layers on, let me just turn my pressure sensitive tablet on. With Auto Align Layers on, I'm gonna zoom in here. Now you can see this layer, I can just turn off and on. It's still not in the exact same place if we're being honest, but maybe I can just move it around. There we go, it's pretty cool. So with Auto Align Layers on, this is where I think it actually becomes useful, because like, let's just turn this layer off for a second, and we can see this is my subject's face that has been downscaled and then run through AI and then upscaled, and here's what we got. But this is my original photograph. You can see it's actually, you know, she looks a little bit different and she has a lot more detail in her skin. So if this is our original photograph and I have it exactly overlaid in the same place, well, maybe I can do something like go to my object selection tool and I can hover over her face. You know what I like to do with the object selection tool? I like to just draw, there we go, an area right around what I want to select, and usually it does like a bang up job. Look at that. Cool, right? Object selection tool just got way better. It's so good now, okay? So I'm selecting her face, and then on this layer, which is the original photograph, check this out. I'm gonna just pop a layer mask on there, all right? So now I have the original photograph. Let's just go to our move tool. The original photograph for her face, right? Hack. Isn't that awesome? So I have the original photograph for her face, and then her hair and her clothing and stuff like that, that's gonna be the AI version. But where it matters, where it counts, where it's my actual subject's face, that is not an AI face now, it's the original face. So what you gotta do, if you're gonna use this tool, go through all the steps we did and then bring your original image back in. Make sure to select the faces or hands or anything that got weird with AI, and then just pop that into a layer mask, and then you got their original face with the AI adjustment. So that's what I think actually makes this useful. It's a little bit of a hack, it's a little bit of a get around, but it's cool, right? So we have our actual subject's face, and you can see, I'm just gonna bring our opacity to 100% and shift click on there. This is our original photograph. Blonde hair, black dress. This is our new photograph here. Let's just bring our opacity down there. Red hair, red clothing, totally works. I gotta be honest, when I started this section, when I started this video, I was like, is this tool actually useful? But I think if you do it like this, okay, and you bring back your original faces into the composite in the editor, then yes, I totally think it's worth it. And I kind of dig this slider. I changed my perspective totally. I wanna know your perspective. Is this cool? Is this something that you would actually use? Do you like this hack of bringing back the original person's face so it's not an AI face at the end of the image? If you did like all this stuff, let me know in a comment down below. I wanna thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget you can download this exact sample image. It's totally free. You can even get this PSD. Just click on the link right down below. And if you wanna get more free tutorials, all you have to do is click on subscribe. Thanks again, and I will Phlearn you later. Bye everyone.